You're listening to LeaderCast, episode 185. Welcome to LeaderCast, Transforming Missions podcast with Tim Bias and Sarah Thomas, providing you with insights and resources you need to lead a movement of Jesus followers. Last week, on part one of Best Wisdom for Rest, Relaxation, and Play, you heard from several leaders sharing their wisdom, and we wove a thread from one person to the next, telling a story of rest, relaxation, and play. Well, today we're going to do the same thing. From one person to the next, you're likely going to hear a common theme, a thread woven to tell a story of rest, relaxation, and play, sometimes reinforcing a previous message, other times leading you into the next piece of wisdom. So listen closely, have fun, and enjoy these individuals' best wisdom for rest, relaxation, and play. On this episode, once again, I'll introduce the individuals who share their wisdom and let them share their story or piece of advice, wisdom, or learning, and let that speak for itself. Let me remind you that you can find show notes for this episode at transformingmission.org/podcast, or go directly to episode 185 at transformingmission.org/185. Without any further wait, today, Courtney Hilbert is going to get us started with her piece of wisdom.
It's interesting. I'm not the best at resting or relaxing. I'm pretty good at playing, but I would say first and foremost is figure out a way to find a moment of calm every day, whether it's a walk, whether it's, using a diffuser with really great essential oil, whether it's, consciously praying at the top of the hour, whatever it is, find a moment where you can have a sense of calm in your day. And also in that connection, figure out what helps you to de-stress. I take off time generally for two reasons: to write, because I can't switch from work and writing up analytics all day long to writing, people's stories in the evening. So I take off time to write, either write on a Saturday or Sunday or take days off work. And a few years ago, I was really conscious. I was getting to the end of a book and I just wanted to finish it. And so I took off a Friday and I was like, I'm just going to write all weekend. And I had told my parents, if I get on a roll, I'm just going to watch, David Jeremiah on Sunday, and that's just going to have to work. And Friday comes and I sit at my computer and nothing happens. And so I get up and I go work out and I come back to my computer and I look at it and I go back and I edit the chapters prior that I'd written, and I'm like, nothing happens. The characters were completely silent, and fiction writers will tell you the characters just kind of talk to you. It's really creepy, but nothing happened. And so I just went to my kitchen. I am a stress breaker. I love to bake. I have 2 KitchenAid mixers and 2 ovens. I have a real problem. And I just started baking, and I came up with, I don't know how many, like probably 2 or 3 different new cookie recipes. And that's what I did that weekend. And Monday morning, I come in with all of these cookie boxes. And one of my teammates looks at me and goes, "Writer's block." I'm like, yes. terrible, right? So, but what I recognize in all of that is that sometimes that the plans we make, our physical or mental bodies can't bring them to fruition. So we have to figure out a way to move our physical and mental beings out of the stressor that they're under. And for me, a lot of times it's baking. Some people it's running, long distances, which I don't understand either. But that would be my advice, is to figure out how to de-stress, find a little calm every day, and figure out what your stress baking is. Right.
Now let's hear from Chris Wiseman.
I just had this conversation actually with a good friend of mine that's a bivocational pastor. So she really, really struggles with this. Take a day off. You're supposed to have 2. You're supposed to have a Sabbath and a day off. At least take one and let the church know that that's your day off. Make it non-negotiable. On your day off, don't answer your phone. Really make it a day off. Oh, and don't do any work. Do something else. Do something that you enjoy. Let your mind rest from the burdens that you bear every day. Sabbath is a commandment, not a suggestion. Everybody needs to recharge.
So this is a question that I've asked a couple of folks for different reasons in the past week. So what's fun for Chris?
What's fun for Chris? I enjoy music. I'm a musician. I enjoy playing my guitar. I enjoy watching a good television program. I like to drive. I go and visit friends from home when I've I always thought it was cool when the first time that I went to annual conference and some of the folks that were my mentors couldn't walk from the auditorium to ice cream without stopping every 5 seconds because they knew everybody. I've been at this long enough now that I've been pretty close to all over Ohio. There's rarely a place within Ohio that I find myself where there's not somebody I know that I can go stop and visit.
Here's wisdom from Raylan Schleif.
Rest, relaxation, and play are all restorative. They're all restorative. And here's the thing. We often think of them as secondary instead of as primary. And rest, relaxation, and play must be as primary as our everyday life's work. Must be. And we run into clergy who say, I don't have time to take my vacation. Send them my way and I'll tell them why they have to make time to take their vacation. Even when I was superintending, I found time to take my vacation. And it was challenging, but I did it as well. So when people say, hey, I don't have time to do that, I don't have time to relax or play or whatever, then what I want to say to folks is something like this. So you have this real personal sense of self-importance that you got so much going on that you can't find time to do what Jesus did on a regular basis. Are you trying to out Jesus? Because that's really not what it means to be one who follows in the way of Jesus. And as I recall, he took time to play with children and he took time away to rest from all of the need. And he relaxed it in the home of Mary and Martha and Lazarus. And he probably took a lot more time to do all three of these things than we might imagine. And because of rest, relaxation, and play, Jesus could be more present with those he met every day. Because of that, he could be more present. And that's the same for us. Without it, we can't be whole and present. It's a must.
Now we get to hear from Barry Burns.
Schedule it. Don't allow your schedule to take over your life, and don't take pride in busyness. Take time to relax and get energy back.
Yeah, one of the things that I think all of us need to remember, I'll say all of us so that I'll feel better about including both of you, is that rest, relaxation, and play actually is part of our work.
Yeah.
And it needs to be programmed or scheduled or however into a cycle of our living because it is part of our work.
Yeah, and busyness will overtake it every time if we allow it. And our culture takes pride, and we pastors are bad at that, is we take pride in being busy. And I think that's the wrong thing to take pride in. Whenever I hear pastors say, oh, I'm just so busy and all of these commitments, where are you taking your break? Where are you taking your day off? Where are you taking a Sabbath? And that doesn't come by accident. I try to counsel people to find what it is that gives you energy. And that's different things to different people. One of our kids is getting into a corner and reading a book. It for others, it's, whatever it is. Some is listening to music, some is getting out, but find whatever it is that gives you energy and make time for that so that you can get that energy back.
Here's what I had to say, and it probably won't come as a surprise. My wisdom would be don't separate work and play. That the integration of who you are, we end all of these episodes by saying who you are is how you lead. And so if work does not include elements of fun, now I don't want a heart surgeon having fun on my heart surgery if I had to have heart surgery. But we've all seen images of surgeons still having fun. There's music playing in the operating room. There are ways that fun can be infused in everything that we do. And I I don't know if this is an age thing or what, but I just think that we are way too serious. Maybe it's because of the context of the work that I do, that in the church, we tend to be way more serious than we really need to be. And I think Jesus was telling jokes all the time. And for most of the people that were around him, those jokes were going over their head. And they didn't know what he was saying. And he was cracking up, and the people who did get it were cracking up as well. There's a reason for laughter. I talk about babies crying, and laughter is the holy breath of God. And so if fun and joy and laughter isn't integrated into your everyday, ordinary life, in your work, in your family life, in what you do with friends, find ways to make it happen and identify what's fun to you. Here's wisdom from Jen Lucas.
I'm realizing through this pandemic, I'm not a playful person. Like I do like to play games. Like we play cards all the time as a family, but like opening up a craft box with Avery and just starting to create and stuff, it's like, oh, it's like stick pins in my eyes sometimes. But it's the joy of her that allows me to relax and stuff. So what I'm realizing is I don't like the play part of it. I like the quality time of it. And that's where I find my relaxation. So once I get past whatever the task is, okay, sure, let's play Sorry again. And that game goes on forever and ever and ever. But in that game, I can certainly find some just great moments with my kids in the conversations that we're having. And I have learned I am not a cook or a baker. That's not something that I was ever raised. We made meals to eat and that was it. But I am really because my kids want to eat healthy. And I'm really finding that a joy for me to find recipes that they like and accomplishing it. Like, oh, I can do this. Oh, I can buy fresh ingredients and make this meal. What's fun for me?
Binge watching on Netflix?
No, because I'm usually avoiding something. I like watching movies. Like I like to watch a movie, but when I'm binge watching something, I'm avoiding something major. No, what's fun for me is redecorating or rearranging my home, organizing. Oh, give me a closet and going through my closet and 2 weeks ago, I pulled every article of clothing out and put it on my bed and just started doing it. Oh my gosh, I was like in my glory. And Tori's like, oh my gosh, mom's lost her mind. But that's like such joy to me. And then I just stand in my closet and it's so pretty. I'll take you in there. It's so pretty now. So we did that on Saturday. Avery and I did that in her closet. I'm like, Avery, let's clean out your closet. And she's like, but it was so fun. So I love doing that kind of stuff. Give me a dirty home or a dirty closet and I am yours. I'll love you. I love it.
Here's wisdom from Tim Bias.
I think I've said this at other times, and I used to compare myself with one of my friends who said, I work hard and also play hard. And I didn't do the kind of things he did for play. So since I recognized that about myself, one of the things that I've begun to understand is that for me, all three of those, rest, relaxation, and play, actually are interwoven into my life in such a way that it's not a cop-out, but it might be something that I do every day in some way or another. So it is part of my life. So taking a vacation, I don't necessarily see that as rest and relaxation. I mean, sometimes when I go on vacation, I got to come back to rest and relax. But those are important. They're important because of the people that I'm with. I don't know that I've ever had a vacation by myself. So one of the things I would say about rest, relaxation, and play for me is that there may be times that I'm alone and it's listening to music or it's reading a book. But the greatest piece for me is I get to do that with somebody I like. Or maybe I should say somebody I love. I become more who I'm supposed to be with my interaction with people. And yes, I need time alone. But for me, real rest and relaxation and play is not being by myself, but by being with persons that I like and enjoying what they enjoy. Just having fun for the sake of having fun. Sometimes it's just laughing. Sometimes it is discussing what we've read or listened to or experienced. I mean, I like that. I love baseball, but I've learned that I don't like baseball by myself. So again, it's being with somebody. I mean, when I lived in Cincinnati, just 6 miles from the ballpark, if I didn't have somebody I was going to the game with, I didn't go to the game. I love baseball. I love the Reds, but I want to be with somebody. It's a shared experience for me. Otherwise, it's just an experience. So that's part of what I'd say. It's with others, and I'm just learning more and more that people are really what bring the joy and fun into my life. And if I get to be with people I like being with, and yes, there are some people I don't like being with. If I get to be with people I like being with, that goes a long way for me.
Now let's hear from Marie Smith and her piece of wisdom.
I think because of the way in which we work, well, not we, I work. So again, a little self moment there. I'm not going to collect everybody else in my little moment, but the way I work right now, because of being a parent of 3 little children, my schedule is so flexible. It feels like I'm always cheating somebody. So like I'm either cheating the church, or I'm cheating my family, or I'm cheating a child, or I'm cheating my husband. So being able to figure out where do you rest, relax, or play has to involve one of those 3 components. And so for me to figure out, well, I don't know where I fit in there. So I'm feeling, and that's happened since the pandemic because of the not being able to figure out how to do that and parent and teach and do all of that at the same time. So that's why I'm not that's not an excuse. That's just the reality of where I sit. So I work at trying to figure out how to do all that stuff. So I do things like I sleep 7.5 to 8 hours every day, no matter what. It's a rule. But I'm not sure I do relaxation and play well.
What's fun for you?
So I really do like to cook, and I like to bake. So I do those things on a regular basis. And I honestly don't like, what we've figured out in the pandemic is we don't like to eat out. So you can't take 3 little children out very well. So the places that they can eat are not places that I like to eat. So I cook a lot, and I experiment a lot.
And to complete this whole set of wisdom about rest, relaxation, and play, let's hear from April Casperson.
When I think about rest, relaxation, and play, when I find myself circling and puttering around and spending too much time on work and saying, I have no energy and I'm stressed, I have to realize that no one is in charge of my calendar other than me. And yes, we have obligations. Like if you are a pastor, Sunday keeps coming. You either problem solve someone to be there on Sunday instead of you, or you make sure that you have your system set up and you write your sermon. But at the same time, we are accountable to ourselves and to God about how we serve and how we lead and how we take care of ourselves. And sometimes we have to take a good hard look at the calendar and say, maybe I need to put in some more time so I can eat, or maybe I do need to exercise, or maybe I need to exercise less, and look at what's missing and consider crafting a life that allows you to better serve. And it's like hard to say that out loud because it sounds so incredibly privileged, and it often requires invisible labor from other people in your circle. But at the same time, no one gets an award for martyring themselves for ministry.
So this is a question that I've asked a few people, and I'm going to ask you as well. What is fun for April?
I like reading. I need to read more. I don't mean that I need to check it off check off the box. But I really do like reading. I like fiction. I like science fiction. I don't know if it's a hobby, but I really like old school Law and Order because it's just so neat and tidy. And you don't actually see the people get killed in the earlier seasons. And so it's just interesting. I do like the Golden Girls too. And I enjoy cooking as long as I have the space to do it. So I'm not necessarily the best cook or most inventive cook, but it is satisfying when I figure out how to create a taste or a flavor and it turns out well.
I hope as you listen to the wisdom from each of these leaders in this episode and the previous episode, you were encouraged that you're not alone if sometimes rest, relaxation, and play is hard. But I also hope that you were challenged to see how essential it is to your life as a leader and to find the things that bring you joy and the space, even if it's a small moment, or as one of our guests today said, maybe it's not something that really brings you joy, but it's just being with people that you love. That's where the joy and the relaxation comes. As you think about your own rhythm for rest, relaxation, and play, let me ask you the question again. What's fun for you? What helps you de-stress? And yes, those are your 2 questions this week to write it down and talk it out. Maybe you'll ask somebody else those questions this week and have a conversation about what is fun for them and how do they de-stress. Whether it's baking, whether it's reading, whether it's cooking up something new, playing a game, watching a ball game. I'm trying to think of all of the things that we mentioned on this episode. Whatever it is for you, I hope that as this summer continues on, that there are moments that you find to rest, relax, and play. Once again, you can find show notes for this episode, including a list of each of the individuals on this episode and who we featured last week at transformingmission.org/185. And remember, who you are is how you lead. Bye for now.